It's turn 34 of this playthrough of Orb and Crown, and we're going to have a look at the replay and see what has happened. Alright, Sanai is on its last legs and is attempting to do as much damage as it possibly can before it goes out. Quite a rational response. Unfortunately, I think the rain in the Gua Scorch, with Bleaklands at least, that's unusual. I don't normally get rain down there in Guatenheim. It's usually dust storms and flying sand. There's a fair bit of mud in Mutimer as well. That goes in my favour. He tried to come out and finish off my elite unit there, and it just slipped away. The dwarves are in a bit of danger here, so Nick is continuing the attack. Certainly forced one of my units to retreat, but he could get surrounded at some point if he's not careful. He will be. Alright, so the town of Dirkwood was damaged. Lots of interceptions of trade routes. Even though Xantu has gone to the Allies 12%, that's one of the Tribal League allegiance, so he is trying to get them on side, which is fair enough. Now I'm going to move or put this this unit in a port, because at this stage I don't think they're going to be able to get to anywhere by foot in a hurry, but from a port I can send them anywhere that I can afford. I have reinforced Imrith because she was getting a bit low on points, and now we're going to try to push back the Moradon attackers a little bit. And just give them something to think about before they continue their attack too hard against Guatenheim. And I'll just shuffle around these units to put the giants in safety in Guaten Peak. And the campaign over in the east, in Malkan, really needs to reinforce, because at this stage, yeah, see, Nick has put in a nice little trap for me, knowing that I would go for that city. I have taken a bit of damage. Now the Vikings, and let's go straight up to the Explorer, and now she can only do one hex at a time. That will take another 5 turns to get there, so she should get there with a few points to spare, depending on whether she suffers any illness along the way or her player forgets to move her. Right, they have used all of their chit, so it's all about movement, and I think this time I will put a little bit of love in the direction of the Jarls and the Warriors in the west, because Scorosbone got it all last time. Put them in a rather difficult situation. If Nick had been able to launch a major attack down there, they were very weak. Could have been defeated relatively easily. Okay, I don't have that many points left, so I can't move things around, put them into transports and so forth. That'll just have to wait, not a problem. It's heading into winter, so I think I'll be putting my units in a position rather than actually launching attacks, but of course I need to be ready to do that as well. Strike while the iron's hot and all that sort of stuff. And I'll move these 2 ships into position to guard that port in case there's something lurking out there. And continue to upgrade the Viking ships. West Kilmar is still moving, and eventually it will join the Viking clans. And put some extra research points into sea warfare. That's what they are known for, after all. Now, against Mutina. I would like to be able to take out the capital at some stage, but the capital could be quite tough. As you can see there, it's got a lot of entrenchment. And so even though I'm going to reduce the entrenchment a bit, it's not going to be enough, not this turn anyway. So I'm going to turn my attention to a soft target and try and take out those units to the west of Sadia. And just reinforce where I can, getting them back up to strength. Not in too much of a hurry to take out Mutina, but the longer that it takes, of course, the longer it will take me to get into a position where I can prepare for the attack against Angford. So I'll just continue to soften them up a bit, even if I'm taking probably larger than necessary losses. And I'll move up from the south. They won't have any or much supply, so I'll have to be careful about that if I use them to attack. As you can see there, they're down to 2 points. Next turn, hopefully they can at least help with taking out Mutina. And I've decided that I'm going to take the plunge and start putting some money into some gold pieces into Mutina, into Memont, and hopefully that will not rebel against me. But if they do, I haven't invested too much, so I won't be losing too much. Now, Potentia, the Empress, is quite miffed that she has been strategically outmaneuvered by the slaves and gladiators and so forth of this area of Exterioris Regio. I'm not sure how you say that in Latin, but anyway, that'll do for now. Okay, so they have their elite gladiators in the position where I am heading, so I'm going to need to make sure that I've got plenty of units ready to take them on. As we all know, those gladiators are pretty tough, and they are fighting for their lives quite literally, so they're going to fight hard. At the moment I can only put myself into position, but I'll continue this reconnaissance in force, probably taking it further than what I originally intended. I never intended them to go too far, but so far they haven't received too much resistance, which could be a trap, of course, but we'll find out. I got the shipbuilders to Versailles to help with the Golden Carnates fleet, put them up to full strength. They can be used for other things now. And the attack, or the counter-attack, from the south of the ancient lands, it does look like it's going to pay some dividends now. Be able to take that unit out and threaten from the southeast, which is good because it means that I would suggest that Nick will need to remove those dwarves so that they do not get cut off. And they don't look particularly strong anyway, so... Right, well there you go, able to take that town and remove the supply that it was providing. I'm also able to put a bit of pressure on these ones in the background. My cavalry doesn't have charge yet, so only gets one attack, doesn't matter. The veterans from Nova Spares have come through and finished the job for them anyway. Okay, so Nova Spares is looking good, and they've got, Potentia has got plenty of gold to spend. It's one of those things that they really never kind of run out of. And I'm going to buy these veterans for Insula Metis. And like I said last turn, I think it was, the Insula Metis is an island off by itself. But that doesn't mean we can't transport their units across to support any attack that might happen against probably Malkan. Sinai will fall, without a doubt. It will fall this turn. That will mean that the Golden Khanate forces can now switch their attention across to the east and towards the ancient lands, and supported by Potentia, the ancient lands will fall at some stage as well. It's just a question of how long it takes. All I'm really doing at this point is trying to take as much territory and cause as much damage as I can, A, to get some experience, and B, to make sure that they do surrender, and that if they had too many things remaining on the map, it's possible that they wouldn't surrender this turn. So just like you do when you're trying to take France and you don't want them to not surrender, you take as many of their cities as you can, and that makes the chances of them surrendering much greater. This is the same sort of thing here. And I have no doubt that they will surrender this time because there's nothing left of Sinai. I'll start moving units back to the west, like I said, to get ready for the attack against the Ancients. It's going to take them a while to get there. I can use transport, sea transport, but of course that costs money. And, you know, it's probably not worth spending that kind of gold pieces, or those gold pieces on transport, when they can just as easily move across the land anyway. And the ports for the Golden Khanate are not necessarily in the best position for attacking the Ancients. But we'll have a look at that next turn. Certainly won't need to worry about it this turn. Alright, so just going to move out and start doing a little bit of raiding of this trade route. of ships that can do that at the moment. And that particular trade route goes all the way up through the Vorpal Strait, through the Sea of Jasmine, through the eastern part of the Sea of Vosa, through to Angford. So cutting off that sea route is actually affecting Angford's supply. Alright, ending the turn. There's the first attrition for the Explorer. The conditions are particularly rugged. Sanai has surrendered and we get 486 gold pieces for that conquest. The Tribal League mines continue to be affected by the raiders out to sea. A bit more technology being developed, which is nice. And the Golden Carnate gets industry, which they need because they tend to lag a bit behind. Patenti will help them out. Alright, there's what we've got left over now, and that looks quite satisfactory. Alright, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.